My name is China. I'm the man and voice, and welcome to another reaction video. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I say thank you for pulling up. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, you turn notification bell so you never miss an upload. Guys, surviving Victoria Everest. This is, I don't know what part. Last time I checked, I was on part 9, but I thought this is like part 10. So I've been following the story ever since it broke. Uh, it feels like it's probably been a couple of weeks now, but it's taken a hot second for it to kind of get into gear. And I've been following it in parts, doing reaction videos. If you haven't seen any of the videos, then make sure you go check them out. But essentially, a viral video got leaked that had Victoria Everest, who was a wellness and fitness juice coach, and it had her admitting to setting a man up for one of the worst things you can ever do to a man, and that was grape. And it was filmed, it was recorded, and he went viral. Since then, it's created a lot of conversation, and it's divided some opinions, with people saying how she's been treated, and in comparisons to Ginger J, who, you know, after his back chat episode was completely dragged for over 5 weeks worldwide, based upon a preference. And yes, he crashed out, he went a bit mad, but it has poked and it has shown the difference in outrage and reactions between men and women. So yeah, so that's happened. Lots of reactions will happen on it. Also go check out King and Denava's reaction to that. But what I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do we're gonna watch along to the actual interview, part 1 and part 2, and I'm going to break it down. And I've seen other people that have broken it down, but you know, when it comes to breakdowns and it comes to reactions, I do my thing very differently. So we're gonna get straight into it, and we're gonna go from there. Yeah.
Jason paid Gucci to release the video.
So let's talk about the video.
As a result of that video being provided to the police, I was charged, caution, and I had to go on probation. So I have a criminal record. And
are you saying that you wanted to get him back because of the abuse?
I called the police 19 times because I was at fear of my life.
What was the psychological effects that it had on you? How would you describe that?
I kept finding myself in relationships with abusive men.
Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
So, yeah, so I'm gonna just stop it there for a second. So this is Mide ONI. She's interviewing for Trend Central, and this is just a trailer, and I actually reacted to this trailer, and this is just some of the questions that she's putting towards her. But you can already see the angle that they've taken upon and how they're putting it towards her. So just remember that this woman is being interviewed after going viral for admitting on tape to setting a man up for grape. And this tape actually that went viral is the reason why the guy was actually released from prison. So I'm just making you aware of the backstory. So when you watch this, you can, you know, you're watching with your eyes wide open.
I witnessed the most horrific acts of domestic violence. I'm talking, you know, my mom was regularly beaten black and blue.
You said that this video was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe somebody could hold on to a video that long.
Why is it being released now?
I don't know. I think you need to ask him that question.
When did you decide that in order for me to get him back, because that's what you mentioned in the video, that you were going to make this false allegation? Like, when did that thought process land?
Like, I felt that at that point that the only person that could stop this man was me.
Welcome to Off the Record, a platform for individuals to speak their truth, discuss their thoughts, and own their stories. We will be having candid conversations, dissecting various events, asking the question.
Welcome to Off the Record, a place where people get to speak their truth. I had to stop it there for a second, because a place where people get to speak their truth. They say there's 2 sides to every story. They'll say, oh, their side, my side, but there's actually 3 sides. There's his side, her side, and the truth, and what's in the middle. But when someone says their truth, that does not mean it's actually the truth. It just means is how that person perception of the truth goes. So I just thought I'll pull that up. Interesting.
We are all eager to know and hopefully come into graceful conclusions. I'm your host, Mide Oni, the one and only. Let's get into it. Today, we are joined by somebody that has gone viral the last couple of days for something very controversial and very sensitive to a lot of people. She's here today to discuss her side of the story and hopefully clear some questions up. Please welcome to the show, Victoria Everest. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. I mean, this has been a very intense couple of days for you, I'm sure. How have you been feeling? How are you managing?
Actually, I've managed to stay quite grounded. I've got an excellent support network and community around me, which I'm just incredibly grateful for.
So she's not actually in the UK. She's filming from Jamaica, and they're filming from the UK. But you can see that Trend Central, the stream looks good. The camera quality is good. So whoever she's got out there in Jamaica, they've been able to to edit it and send it back to Trend Central so they can get it out and fuse it together. But they're not actually in the same room at the same time. So just so you know.
In the middle of a 21-day juice fast, which has really just allowed me to just not react to things that are being saying online, but really just respond with truth and clarity. So I'm super, super grateful for this opportunity to set the record straight.
Well, thank you for joining us to set the record straight. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So before we get started, tell us a bit about yourself. You've got an amazing platform in terms of wellness and fitness and caring for the body. So for those people that don't know you prior to this scandal, tell us a bit more about what you do.
For those that don't know you prior to this scandal, tell us a little bit more about it. Why are you about to give her an opportunity to promote her business and her upbringing? That's what they're doing. Like, if you understand how, if you understand the gravity of what is seen on the video and what the implications of what that had, and not just the implications, the ramifications of what she said on camera had ended up putting an innocent man into prison. Why are we not just getting straight into it? What are we doing here talking about her upbringing? And I'm just showing you how, if I was interviewing it, how I would approach it. But I digress.
Who you are.
So I run one of the fastest growing detox and wellness academies in the world. And we teach people essentially how they can reclaim their health, giving them tools and techniques, predominantly based around fasting, but also other other health healing modalities. So movement's a really big part of that. I also support, I guess through my time of growing my community, I support a huge community of people online with just daily inspiration, providing them guidance around juicing.
Right now, she's just been given a platform to promote her juice and wellness business. Okay, I run the fastest growing juice and wellness. Like, remember, the reason why she's on here is because she was caught lying about setting up a man for grape on camera. Okay, and Mide ONI and Trend Central are talking to her about her business.
Working out, health, wellness. That's essentially what I do in a nutshell.
Obviously, you're not in the studio with me. So where exactly are you?
So I'm currently in Jamaica. We are in the middle of running our Reset Wellness Retreat, where people across the world fly in for a week to come and detox and reset their body in paradise. It's been an incredible.
Now, this is literally just an advert. Like, look how she's grinning and smiling. There's a scandal that's currently going on, and look how she's grinning and smiling, and she's doing it from Jamaica. Because she knows she doesn't want to step foot over here right now, and she's doing it from Jamaica.
experience. And yes, we're right in the middle of the retreat, but it was really important for me to be able to take the time out and respond to this video and really just shed some light around it as well.
Okay, that's good to hear. Obviously, from your brand being very wellness, fitness, dietary, just looking after your body, it's very contradictory to what has come out recently about you. So let's talk about it. Obviously, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding you and this leaked video online. Let's kind of start by, I think what we need to kind of clarify is your relationship with men, first and foremost, because certain things that you were saying in the video kind of showed that you don't like men. So kind of talk me through that. Like, what's your relationship or your view towards men holistically?
So just to give you a bit of context, my mum's Turkish, my father's Nigerian. I was born and raised in London. Both my parents came to the UK as immigrants back in the 80s. My mum actually couldn't speak any English. Turkish was our main spoken language at home. And I actually ended up learning English at school.
Now we're talking about her parents and her mum being Turkish, and I am still waiting for us to get into this video. But now she's talking to us about our upbringing. But we're not talking about the video. We're not focusing on the video in question. Interesting.
Relationship with my father was a very interesting one. He was a well-renowned journalist, had a publication called Business in Africa magazine. And I was his princess. I had a very, very close relationship with him growing up until the age of 12, when he then moved to South Africa to pursue his business and his career. And at that point, things really changed for me, going into my teenage years, not having my father present. I would see him once or twice a year, but he didn't play an active role.
Can you see how they're trying to set this up? I just want you to understand the play for this. They're already talking about your upbringing. You're talking about it's gonna be, they're gonna pull for the daddy issues, right? And abuse. I'm waiting for it, but I just want you to understand they're setting up a play, and they're creating a narrative in how the questioning is being set up. All right. So just watch this.
Life at all, kind of going into early teenagehood, adolescence, and at the age of 19, at 47 years young, his life was tragically taken. He was assassinated by a family member, and that was, for me, probably one of the most traumatic experiences that I had to go through.
Look, Victoria Everest, I'm sorry that your dad got murked by your cousin. I'm sorry. It's not nice. But that's still not giving a reason or an excuse why you set up an innocent man for rape. All right? I'm just saying, innit? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. I am. I'm sorry that happened. But that's still not an excuse for setting up an innocent man for rape.
As a young adult, in my early teens, losing I would say losing my best friend. I looked up to my dad so much. We spent so much time together, even though he wasn't there physically. He still was my idol. And to have his life, to lose him so tragically at such a young age, I think definitely played a burden on me for sure.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
Not having my dad around.
Do you think your father not being in your life is contributed to how you view men? Mide Oni, you're leading her with the questions. It would be better for her to just come out with that. Well, due to me not having my father in my life, I felt as if, it affected me and my relationship with men. But leading the question is essentially you're putting the idea and the thought into her mouth, and all she got to do is be like, yeah, actually, yeah, that's what it was. Um, I don't really like this interviewing. Well, it's not. I don't like this interviewing style, and I don't think it's a style that a lot of people respect, because you're essentially you're coaxing and you're coercing um, the subject into kind of going down your narrative, or yeah. But let's carry on.
Up didn't influence my view on men. I think what it did do is it created a space for where I didn't have the right guidance, nurturing, or support structure as a young person. It created the space for me to just essentially encounter challenges, going through, my teenage life from the age of from the ages of 12 to 16. So from year 7, to year 11, I went to 6 different secondary schools. I was expelled 3 times. I'd got myself involved with, a gang of criminals, to say it quite frankly. And I almost got myself murdered at the age of 15. I was on the front page of Hackney Gazette.
Yeah. So a lot of people be speaking about Victoria Everest Skies. Like, she's very well known in North London, Enfield, Hackney. She's very well known, and she's talking about a case when she was at 15, which resulted in certain man going to prison. Um, but you got to remember the image of who she is and what she's trying to create, what she's trying to paint, and also look at the life she's lived. Okay, because it's gonna bring a lot of context to everything that's kind of going on to bring you more. Any anyone can set up themselves to look in a certain type of way. They say mutton dressed up as lamb. But the longer you allow someone to speak, the more likely they're going to start giving an indication of who they are. And this is what she's doing.
Because I had been kidnapped, taken, by the kidnappers to a river, had all of my hair cut off. I had a bag put over my head and thrown into the river. I was in a hospital for 2 weeks in concussion. And as a result of that, there was multiple attacks at that time. But as a result of that first attack, I was put into witness protection, which I later came out of because I decided not to pursue the charges. But at that point, I also was in social services by the age of 15. I was in a foster home. My dad wasn't around, like I said, and
My dad wasn't around, like I said. I was also in a foster home. Just because your dad wasn't around, that was not the reason for you to start running around with gangs at 15. Lots of people don't have their father around, and they're not running around in the gangs at 15 and on the front page of the Sun at 15. There's a lot of excuses being made here. I'm not saying those are terrible. Those things happen, 100%, definitely terrible. But it's still not a reason why you should set a man up for rape in an innocent manner to put him into jail. So far we haven't got into that. We're still talking about her upbringing and the things that happened to her, but we are not focusing on the thing we should be focusing on, and that is on the viral video that was recorded, and that features her.
Both my parents really tried their best with me. I am an only child, and I think by the point where they realized that my life was in serious danger growing up, at the time I was in Hackney, so when they realized that my life was in serious danger, my dad decided to step in and remove me from the UK, and I ended up finishing my studies in Germany. I went to the Berlin British School, and I ended up finishing year 11.
Okay, wow, that's a lot to take in. There's so much to unpack in what you've just said. But what I want to touch on is you mentioned you talk about your dad, but where was your mum when all of this was happening?
I also
Mide ONI, why do you want to touch on that? She's ready, folk. Like, let's go straight into what we need to talk about, and that is the tape. That is the tape. Why are we speaking about her upbringing in Germany and her father being assassinated by his family member and the Sun newspaper and gangs and kidnap? Like, yeah, that's not nice. I hear it, but let's focus on what we all have seen. But so far, it's 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, and still we have not actually focused on the tape. They haven't even shown the tape.
Lost my mum in 2021 to COVID. She was 56 years young. So that's, you know, talking about my mum, always get a little bit emotional. But
Yeah, but they said, yeah, so her mum passed away. RP to her mum, obviously. But they said well, she not that they said she put on a GoFundMe, and then straight after the GoFundMe for her mum, after raising the money, she got herself a new set of, boobs. They said, so they're saying that she spent the money from the GoFundMe on her breasts. Now, money well spent. Congratulations, but if you really use your mum's death as a reason to get funds to bury her, but you actually use those for breast augmentation surgery, I think that's just foul, man. Like, that's really foul. And to the people that obviously put money towards it to help your mother, and foul, just like, because your mother could have had an even better send off if you used that money. So I can't. That's nothing I can be sure of or tell you. But so far, most of the things they've said about you, the rumors have been true. So I'm gonna take it as that's true, and that's just foul.
Till the age of 12, my mum played a really active role in my life. You know, she was the mum that would take me to every single after school club, swimming, horse riding. You know, she is an incredibly, incredibly strong and inspiring woman that poured nothing but love and nurturance into me growing up. But when I hit the age of 12, she met somebody, and the person that she had met was living in Tottenham at the time. We were living in South London in West Norwood. And within a few months of meeting this individual, he was a Turkish man, she fell pregnant. They decided they were going to get married and have a child. So essentially, at the age of 12, my mum had decided to start a new family. And I think that's really when my struggles with men really began. And throughout those years, throughout those teenage years, throughout the adolescent years, from the time that my mum was with this man, his name was Sayed, I witnessed the most horrific acts of domestic violence.
So let's just get this straight. Your mum now gets with a new guy after your dad was assassinated, your Nigerian father. Sayed, this guy doesn't sound like a Nigerian brother to me. He don't sound like, it's not, but so before we start having a narrative that is this black man that are committing domestic violence, this sounds like a real Arab brother. And I think, or it could be a Turkish brother, seeing as how you're saying your mum was Turkish anyway. So let's just be careful about the narrative that's been shown. Her father, the Nigerian guy, passed away. Unfortunately, his life was taken by a family member. So let's just focus on what we know and what we can see.
You know, my mum was regularly beaten black and blue in front of me, had her hair dragged, had her teeth kicked in while she was pregnant to my younger brother. My stepdad kicked her in the stomach, and you know, it was just one of those things growing up.
My stepdad kicked her in the stomach while she was pregnant. This is not nice. I'm not taking any woman that has to go through that. But this is performative. This is very, very performative. Extremely performative. And maybe it will work on some people, but it's not working on me. She needs to try harder.
I ended up really resenting, you know, because I had no control as a teenager. I had no control. I had no way of protecting my mum. And I thought, definitely at the time, maybe I can seek safety and comfort on the streets. And that's what I did. I got taken in by the streets. And I remember, 14, 15, that was another thing as well, you know, whilst I was still at home, I also had challenges because my mum, being Turkish, is white. My stepdad was white. My little brother was also white. So
Okay. My mum was white. My stepdad was white. My little brother was white. And you was a little black girl in the house, okay? This had nothing to do with black men. So let's just remember I said to you initially the name Saeed. So your mother went and got with a rather than get with another black man, which would probably be made more sense. So that the kids would have mixed race black brought up in that household. She chose to go get a white man and wanted him to raise a black daughter, which is essentially what you are. So you didn't grow up with any black influences. You grew up white. You grew up Turkish. This is not a black woman. This is a Turkish woman and how she was raised and how she thinks.
felt like I didn't fit in. My dad wasn't around. So the closest space, or you know, I guess the closest I could feel home was really the safety on the streets. And I remember going through my teenage years thinking one day I'm gonna kill this man for what he's put my mum through. And that's essentially, I think, was the beginning of, you know, the relationship, you know, the beginning, I guess the beginning of it all was witnessing domestic violence, you know,
I thought I really wanted to delete this man. Guys, only women can be on the platforms talking about when they was teenagers they had thoughts of deleting somebody, domestic violence or not, and it's just been allowed to run. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I'm still trying to figure out when we're gonna get into speaking about the tape about her being recorded on camera, admitting to putting an innocent man into jail. Like they haven't played none of the clips. Like they haven't played anything. All they're doing is setting up a narrative and a story where it can play on your heartstrings, but not yet have we got into the. Yeah, I can't lie. It's very boring because you want to get straight to action, but we have to go through the boredom. We might have to, and I don't even want to clip it down because I want you guys to see how long it takes to actually get into what everyone is here for, what everybody wants to know, and we don't care about her talking about her white Turkish stepdad, and a white mother and a white little brother. No one cares about that. Why did you lie on my man?
the severity of what my mum went through growing up. And I know a lot of people can relate in Turkish cultures, especially Turkish, Arabic, any kind of ethnic culture, to be beaten by your husband is normalized. It's one of those things that it's like women just have to endure it. We have to accept it. And, you know, that my mum, because of the sake of my younger brother, she stayed in that relationship.
What was the psychological effects that it had on you? How would you describe that?
It almost normalized it, you know? So it was no coincidence when I hit 26, 27 that I kept finding myself in relationships with abusive men. You know, that played a really big part in terms of my psychology and, you know, not realizing, I think it was more of a subconscious decision that, you know, I was making, that I would end up in a relationship with men who at some point would end up abusing me. If it wasn't physically, it was.
Almost 15 minutes in and we still haven't got into why everybody's here. We're still talking about her upbringing and her relationship with her father and her stepdad and men abusing her. But I'm still waiting for an explanation as to why she was caught on camera and lying, and why that footage resulted in the man being free. Hopefully we'll get there soon. But Mide ONI, Trend Central, what's going on? Anyway, it's not even Trend Central's fault. But in regards to questioning, man, like how many views is this on anyway? Wait, hold on. How many views is it on? Dead views. Like what? Nah. Why can't I see the views? 34,000 views. Nah. I thought it would have had more, to be fair. Thought it had more. But okay, let's go.
Emotionally or mentally, and it was a pattern that was continuing throughout, you know, kind of my adult life.
So let's talk about the video, the recent viral video. So when the video first
Finally, 14 minutes in. Finally, 14 minutes in. And now we get to talk about the video. Finally, 40 minutes in and we get to talk about the video. Okay. We finally got there. I have been asking. Maybe some of you guys are going to say, oh, she had to. No, let's just get straight into it. Let's just get straight into it. No long thing.
you mentioned that it was fake and it was AI. Can we talk a bit about that? Like, what did you mean?
So given the given the size and scale of my account, I'm not the person that always is behind running my account. So the video was sent to me, and my first response to the video was that this has been edited, this is fake. And that's what I said to my team. So they then took that and said it was AI. When I realized that they'd put out it was AI, I deleted the story immediately.
Of course. I blame the team. Blame the team. This is what people always do, man. This is another thing that celebrities, influencers do. When something goes wrong, they'll blame the team, they'll blame the management, or they will say, I got hacked. Okay? It's a common ploy. They will say, I got hacked. It's a very common ploy. And yeah, we don't believe it. Like when it initially came out, she said it was AI. Okay. When it went on to Goob John, I think it's John Dorsey, Goob, he calls out people, influencers and fitness people that lie on their accounts, and she said it was AI. Then later on, obviously, when it becomes confirmed it's not AI, she then retracts her statements. So now what she's doing is she's saying that it was actually her team that said it was AI because she said it was edited, it was fake. So they automatically presumed that meant AI. So they did AI, but then once she saw that they put AI, she then retracted it to let people know it's real, it's just been edited. Oh my God, this is gaslighting 101. And this lady is really good at gaslighting, but you might be able to gaslight everyone so far and gaslight yourself here. Congratulations, but you cannot gaslight me. You cannot gaslight me. But I'm gonna have fun in showing how much you tried to gaslight. I can have fun with that.
You know, then went forward with saying it's a very, very real video. It's just been, you know, it's a 7-minute video that has been edited specifically to show me in a particular light, you know.
It's a 7-minute video that's been edited to show me in a particular light. Guys, no tape can have you saying that you wanted to set up a man and see him in prison over Christmas over New Year's for 3 days while you was in a $7,000 a night hotel with your son. Like, that's not AI. That was you. That was you, Victoria Everest, okay? Like, you cannot try to gaslight me or gaslight us. We've seen everything. So I'm breaking it down because I'm showing you how this should have been handled, how this interview should have been handled, and if I handled it. Do you understand? Big up Trend Central, big up Andy and that. But Andy, I would have cooked the hell out of her. And the way the cross-examination, it would have been a masterclass. You would have loved it. You would have loved it. You need to reserve me for stuff like this, Andy. You need to reserve me.
So I think there was a misunderstanding there for sure.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that we need to unpack about that video, but you mentioned that, you know, like you hate men in that video. And obviously you describing everything that you've gone through psychologically, you know, one could argue that, you know, it's understandable why you would kind of have that viewpoint. But you've mentioned that your dad didn't contribute to it, it was your stepdad. And then you also entered into abusive relationships. What did those abusive relationships look like? what did you experience?
You know, in relation to the video, the person that I was in a relationship with, it was over a period of 18 months. You know, when I first entered a relationship with this guy, generally I would, you know, be naive enough, because I'm someone who wears their heart on their sleeve naturally in every scenario, every situation. And, you know, one of the things that led me to even entering this relationship was just being, you know, being vulnerable enough to take people for face value. You know, the manipulation that went into pursuing the relationship from him, you know, early on in the relationship, really was, you know, when I look back and reflect, I think, okay, you know, I definitely was in a really broken state. When I look back at that video, because, you know, I've watched it a couple times, and just to set the record straight, you know, that video was filmed almost 10 years ago. The person.
Let me stop it there for a second. That video was filmed over 10 years ago. No, it was not. That's another gaslighting that she's trying to attempt to do. In the video, Gucci Walker says, you're 31. When he's talking about her in therapy, don't you think you're a little bit too old now to be still doing this? How many more years you want to keep doing this? He says to her, you can earn 3 times as much money you do now, you know, basically doing positive stuff. Like, do you get me? If you put your talents to other things, and she didn't want to hear it. And that was not, and she's 37 now, and he said 31, so that's about 6 years ago that video was. So that's just another attempt. She says multiple things, and she cannot keep track of all the things that she says and all the lies that she says, but we can keep track of them. I keep track of them.
I was speaking about in that video wasn't arrested and wasn't prosecuted. Whilst I said some extremely, you know, vile things in that video, a lot of people have really focused on the hate and the anger. And
I'm so sorry. I'm just going to cut you, because you said the person in the video that you were referring to was not prosecuted, was not arrested, was not charged.
Absolutely not. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't charged. He didn't go to jail. And actually the video was provided to the police, and because the video was provided to the police, he managed to get away with those charges. And as a result of that video being provided to the police, I was charged, caution, and I had to go on probation. So I have a criminal record. And
let's just focus on that for a second. Listen, this guy, he didn't get off anything. The reason why you were charged is because you were seen to be lying about a man on camera, okay? And that said man was she's saying he wasn't in jail, but that said man was in prison. And when they've seen this, they have now said, oh my God, how can we put this guy in jail? He's innocent. This woman is clearly unstable and clearly a liar. And they released him, and then they charged you and gave you a criminal record. And then she says it, I have a criminal record. Well, you shouldn't have been lying then. You shouldn't have been making things up. There's worse things than a criminal record, but you're a whole liar.
You know, that was a decision made by the police at the time. So I really had to pay the price.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, I really had to pay the price. Do you know the price a man has to pay for being convicted of rape? Do you know what it's like for men in jail that are convicted of rape? Do you know how society looks at you? Just the accusation, we speak about this all the time, but seriously, right now, Michael Ward's life is on pause right now due to what's going on. Young Philly's life is on pause. Noel Clark's life got ruined. Benjamin Mendy's life got ruined. There's too many of them to keep talking about, yeah? So it's to put an innocent man in jail. There's the error of there's no smoke without fire. Some people will always believe he's a rapist regardless of what, because you know how hard it is to prove in the court on women getting raped. So it's not just okay to throw out this accusation, understand what this does to a man's life. It can ruin a man's complete life, and people just don't want to be around that association with that. and you just think it's just a joke. This is why I'm the man them's voice. This is why I do what I do.
We're moving along a bit quickly here. So the the video, the man that released the video, Gucci Walker, I believe, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. He released a statement saying that his friend, the reason why he made the video was because his friend was charged with a false rape case. Yeah. And at the hands of you, you planned it. You had the man in your house where you both had intercourse, and then the police caught him there. So he was going to jail. He couldn't bust case on this particular matter because he was found in your house. But you're saying that that didn't happen.
No, so he did get arrested, and because the video, was provided to the police as evidence, he was released. He never got charged, and I never saw Denzel again. That was, over 8 years ago. We've never spoken. We've never.
Wait, hold on a second. She's trying to make you believe that he just got arrested, and then the next day someone came with a video, and then that video was presented, and then he got released. Are you okay? This guy was in prison. Like, she was in prison. This whole video was done to get him out of prison. And if this video wasn't made, he would still be in prison. So she's acting as if the police just came, put him in the local police cell, and then the next day the tape came out, and then he was released. No, he was not. She's gaslighting it, and Mide ONI, you're not picking up on anything. Like, there's so many parts here, Midi, where you could just smash her, like smash out the park. Really, really cross-examine and real investigative journalism. There's some opportunities here to really excel. And I'm sorry, Mide ONI, you're just missing each and every one of them. You're just missing each and every one of them and allowing her to basically steer this interview how she wants to steer it and take it where it needs to go. And this is one of the reasons why we didn't really want a woman to address her or to interview her, because we knew this is the types of stuff that women do.
And he went on with his life. I went, we made a lot of mistakes during that relationship. That was probably one of the most traumatic. I've been through 2 very, very traumatic relationships in my life. One of those, when I say traumatic, violent and abusive. One of those was with Denzel, the person that was in question in the video. And his ex-partner warned me. She was a teacher. She had a non-molestation order against him. And she said, look, this guy, she told me exactly what was going to happen in the relationship. And I didn't believe her. Denzel, convinced me also not to believe her. And, I really paid the price.
Like, she's just allowed to say loads of claims and they're not being fact-checked, they're not being checked. She's talking about the ex-girlfriend of Denzel had a non-molestation order against him, and she told me to listen, but I didn't. The reason you didn't listen is because women don't care about other women. No, they don't. This whole sisterhood is a farce. It's a fallacy. You guys think your periods unite yourself and your vaginas align you, but they don't. She would take your man, they would take your man and not care. Men are less likely to do that. Women will steal another woman's man. So this whole idea of, oh, the ex tried to warn me. Why would you listen to the man's ex? Like, do you understand? If you really cared about women, then you would listen to what another woman's saying, but you just wanted the man for yourself. So let's not act like, oh yeah, the ex told me, and then all of a sudden, that, nah, man, you didn't care about that. Women don't care about other women. They just care about themselves.
One of the biggest things, that came out of the relationship is during the time that we were together, I fell pregnant. I ended up contracting an STI. He gave me gonorrhea at the time. At the time I was working at Microsoft, I had a very successful career with a 6-figure salary. And he told me that he was an ex-football player, semi-pro football player, only to later discover that actually he worked on the railways. He was living at his mum's house on the couch. And the car that he'd met me in, which was a brand new Range Rover, belonged to the girl that he was dating at Brown Eagle. It was someone else's vehicle. So that was only...
The girl he was dating at Brown Eagle, someone else's vehicle. Hey, Brown Eagle catching strays. And that's Brown Eagle in Enfield as well. Or it could be Tottenham, but I have a strong feeling it's Enfield. Girl from Brown Eagle that she was dating with the Range Rover. If you want to get your voice heard, then come across over here and you can get your voice heard over here. Girl from Brown Eagle with a Range Rover, Victoria Everest has your name, has her name in your mouth. If you have got your side of the story, you want to tell me, then please come pull up. Pull up over here. We gonna help you, girl. We gonna help you.
Months into the relationship, I was discovering these things. I found a secret phone in his car. You know, there was a whole, a whole array of women that he was meeting up with, and sleeping with at the same time while he was living in my house. And any single time that I confronted him, the backlash was, a verbal, physical abuse. And during the time that we was in the relationship, I called the police 19 times because I was at fear of my life. My son was living with me at the
during the time of the relationship, I called the police 19 times because I was in fear of my life. We're gonna have to challenge this 19 times. You need to provide some type of evidence. You cannot just be saying things unfact checked. Because one thing we can fact check is the video that we have of you that's circulating. And it has been fact checked to the point of where the guy that was in question was released from prison because of your false allegations. Shout out to Gucci Walker. But she just out here saying whatever she wants to say in this interview. It's called off the record. Damn right it's off the record because everything on the record proves her to be a liar.
I'm a single mom and my son was around 7 at the time. And that was one of the worst things, that I've ever experienced, was to see my son, witness me getting beaten up by this man. And he wasn't just a man, he was a street thug. He was a guy off the street, from the ends. And, and because of the fact that each time I called the police for abuse, whether it was abuse, in front of or, isolated, maybe he wasn't at home, because there was a child at home, social services were involved. And at the last point where he was arrested, my main concern was keeping him safe. That was the ultimate thing for me. Social services were, I was at complete risk of losing him because I was in this relationship with this abusive man.
At what point did you decide everything that you're going through in this relationship, the abuse that you were enduring, when did you decide that in order for me to get him back, because that's what you mentioned in the video, that you were going to make this false allegation? Like, when did that thought process land?
When did that thought process... No, you're trying to dress it up. When did you decide you was going to lie about grape? One of the worst things that can happen to a woman, and statistically proven one of the hardest things for women to prove. When did you decide to go and for all the women that have been through this, that are fighting through this, you decided to go and then to put you put a knife in their backs. I'm sorry, you stabbed all those women in their back. Proverbially, you just did. Because they're already struggling to get their message across. They're already struggling for justice. Do you understand? And then you just gone and done this. But you're dressing it up Mide ONI like it's like, oh, when did you do? No, she has literally gone and messed it up. Like, for so many women. For so many women. You need to be a lot more hard. Like, the question needs to be a lot more direct and harder. She needs to feel as if she's done something, because all now, she doesn't feel like she's done anything. Honestly.
Every single time the police were called, the follow-up was made. There was a non-molestation order. There was a restraining order, so he couldn't, come back to the house. But he would always turn back up at the house, crying, begging me, apologizing. He's not going to do it again, and I need to forgive him, that I'm his baby girl, and everything was going to be okay. And being naive and vulnerable, at the time I would take him back, believe his lies, and not realizing at the time I was experiencing, what we call today is severe narcissism. But there came a point where the social services were like, we're gonna, you're now putting your child in risk by staying in this relationship. It was only in hindsight, when I look back, I take responsibility for being the codependent to enable that relationship to go on for as long as it did. I definitely take accountability, for the things that I said in that video. the hurtful things that I said. I hate men. One of the things I referred to in that video specifically was the fact that I say to the person that was recording the video that I'm going to put a stop to this so that he doesn't go and do this to other women. You know, like I felt that at that point that the only person that could stop this man was me. And
the only person that could stop this man was me, and the only way that I can stop him is by putting a false rape allegation. If this man was really all of the things you said, you wouldn't have to pull a fake accusation against him. Like, he could have given you an STI, he could be a lot of things, but if he hasn't graped you, then you can't make up grape. Like, he can cheat on you. If he beats you up, he's an abuser, physical abuser, domestic violence, but it's still not grape. Grape is separate. And you can't just be like, he done this to me, he done that to me, so I'm gonna make this up to justify it. This is how a lot of women's minds works. They will just make up something to justify and say, well, he done that, so that's why I can do this. No, it doesn't mean that. If he didn't grape you, you can't say he graped you, because he didn't. And that's one of the worst things you could say to a man, and that's why they do it. They know what it does.
The only way that I could stop him was by sending him to jail. And the reason behind that was like, I didn't want anyone else.
Victoria, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to interject here.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that you wanted to get him back because of the abuse? Because even though you're mentioning things that he's done, I'm still a bit hazy on what he actually did to you.
Yeah, you're hazy. I'm hazy too, Mide ONI. You'll finally start to pull up some of the stuff, Mide ONI, and you're starting to be like, yeah, I rated that, but you need to interject a lot more. There's been so many opportunities where you can challenge this woman, Mide ONI. Literally, so many opportunities you can challenge this woman, but you're missing out on them, and you're allowing her to get the better of you in this interview. Like, if you want to just give her an interview where she's gonna come talk about her business and promote and talk about her upbringing and promote her, if that's what this is for, if this is just a marketing toy, then by all means carry on, because she's benefiting. This is a PR masterclass on how to spin something in regards to her. But if you're trying to do this as a serious interview, nah, like, this is terrible interview style and technique, because you're allowing her to lead you in the questioning. And she's running this interview. And rather than you extracting something from it that we don't know, she's setting it up to create a narrative to line her up and lead her up to a closing statement, which I already know what it's going to be. And we can all see what it's going to be.
Like, what was the 13th reason as to why you felt like, I'm going to get him arrested? What was he actually doing to you?
He'd beaten me up in front of he'd beating me black and blue. It wasn't just, my mouth was swollen, I had blood, my eyes, it was just essentially it was a repeat of what I had been experiencing.
Like I said, beating you up black and blue, not nice. No man should be putting hands on a woman. I don't agree with that. But that is still not grape. He beat you black and blue. Yes, he is physical. He's a domestic violence. He's an abuser. Yes, woman beater. Yes, all of those things he is. But that still does not make him a rapist. Not one point does that make him a rapist, and it does not give you the right to get him arrested for rape and put him in jail for it. Crazy girl.
Up. At that point, he strangled me, so I lost consciousness. And that was the final straw for me. That was it, because I said to myself, like, there's no way I can keep going through this. At the time, my mum was still alive, and she was very much, encouraging me to get the law involved and really make sure that I can draw a line and be able to move on.
Of course, your Turkish mum was wanted to get involved and get the law involved on this black man. Of course she was. Of course she was. Like, man, I always say this. Any girl that, I'm not saying, look, if man are doing the mad thing, then yeah, cool. They need the police. But some people, if you call police on me ever in a relationship, I would never go back. Because some of you guys like to be in a relationship where the girl calls police on you, but you go back and call police on me once and bring those. As a black man, what do you think happening when the police come? You're calling the police on your black man. What do you think is going to happen? So any woman that wants to call police for me, just know that's cool, but I'll never come back to that. The one time you call police on me once, never again, because you're trying to get man taken away, and what you trying to get man done for, like, it's crazy. So I'm not into all those toxic call police relationships.
This relationship. And
Look, sorry, looking back, why did you feel like this was the best course of action for you to take?
when I look back at why I would have taken that, why I would have been so drastic and so extreme in terms of my response, it wasn't even a response, it was a reaction. It was a reaction. Because I was terrified of what he would do to me, that he would continue to do it to me, put me at harm, put my son in harm, put other women in harm. And I felt like I said, I could be the one to stop that and change that, not realizing, that we don't have the ability to change anyone. We can only change ourselves. And unfortunately, I messed up. I made a really stupid decision in making that statement. And, I had to pay the price. I really had to pay the price. Not only did somebody get away scotch-free.
He didn't get away scot-free. Like, you are a criminal. You got found to have lied. You were caught on camera lying and setting up a man, okay? Yeah. You were caught. He wasn't caught. You were. He didn't get off scot-free. He was innocent. That's what he was. You got off scot-free initially because you put an innocent man into prison. Then you got caught. And you didn't even get put into prison. You didn't even get to put in prison. You just got what did you say? Suspended sentence and some probation, some idiot stuff. And you're still making up noise. Crazy.
From the offenses that they committed, but I ended up, having a criminal record because of it. Ultimately, that wasn't the end, I had to do, that was the beginning of, and I think I even mentioned it in that recording that, that's what my therapist said. I've been in therapy for almost coming up to 8 years now. And that was the beginning of my therapy.
I've been in therapy for almost 8 years. Guys, anyone that's seeing a therapist for 8 years is a certified cracker, loony. I'm sorry. Like, because you're supposed to graduate from therapy. And this is the woman that you're spending tens of thousands of pounds to go to her retreat to take information from her, and she's currently in therapy and setting up innocent men for grape because they gave her an STI. So she justified in her brain that's why it's okay to go. And this is who you are paying for spiritual guidance from. You need to get your head tested, some of you guys. Honestly, you do. You do, because some of you guys are just crazy.
That was the beginning of realizing, my part to play, how I enabled the situation. And, ultimately, I take responsibility because ultimately, I didn't have any self-worth for myself. If I had enough self-worth for myself, I would never let a man like that in my space, in my home, or at my child. I had no value of that. And I think that's where it all begun for me.
I mean, the abuse that you've endured is horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I'm so sorry that you went through that. But I think it's very important to kind of think about the repercussions that a rape charge has. Did you think about that? Because, for example, people that go to prison for rape are, that sometimes they get killed because of the allegations.
Thank you, Mide ONI. Thank you. Yes, man go to jail and they get kill off. They get deleted for allegations. Thank you, Mide ONI. I think that was, now you're starting to, I know you was letting me down, but that there was some good questioning. And just putting it to her and say, are you aware that this is what happens? Man get their face cut, $150, they get sliced. This will stay with a man forever. Are you aware? Are you aware? Do you care? Do you care? Let me not say are you aware, but do you care?
So obviously you sending someone to prison, that's number one, taking years off of their life for something that they didn't do. And there's a possibility that they could literally die in prison. Did that thought process go through your mind at all?
At that time, I'm going to be honest with you. It didn't cross my mind at all. My main thing that was on my mind is keeping myself safe and keeping my son safe and making sure that, you know, I don't fall victim to this abuser again. And like I said, it's not right. I don't condone anything I said in that video. I think it's really important to, you know, to make a very clear distinction in that the person in that video that was speaking is merely just a shell of the person I am today. And
Listen, I don't care about the person. Like, she's like, oh, the person that's speaking in the video is merely shadow the person I am today. Like, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, it doesn't matter. If you lied on a man, you lied on a man. So 10 years ago, 7 years ago, you was a pagan lying about men and putting men into jail. Okay? And 7 years later, you can't even admit to it or own up to it, or you can't be accountable. You refuse to be accountable. It's all about my upbringing. It's all about my father got killed. I was abused. My stepdad like all of these things. But you are not accepting any bit of accountability for the video that we have of you going viral, filmed by Gucci Walker, of you admitting of setting up your ex-boyfriend Denzel for grape, and he didn't do it. And this is what it comes down to. So this whole interview, we haven't got into it. We could be using this time to be playing the video. We could be using this time to be playing the video, going through the video meticulously and pointing things out and showing the inconsistencies within the story. But all we're doing is allowing her a free-for-all to narrate her own version of events, even though we have official events, timeline official events. But for some reason, they're allowing her just to create a whole narrative. And if this is going to be the official video that she does, then this is really good video for her, because she's not answering anything. They're not showing anything.
Do a lot of work, and that's why my lifestyle is so important to me. You know, when I made that statement, when I said those things on camera, I was a very angry, scorned Black woman who I want.
Ooh, when I said that on camera, I was a very angry, scorned Black woman. Let's just look at her for a second. When I said that on camera, I was a very angry, scorned Black woman. Now, scorned Black woman. Black women, how do you feel about her using the angry, scorned Black woman stereotype? She's a mixed race woman. I mean, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I look at mixed race people as Black. I always have. I know not everyone does. That's perfectly fine. I look at her as a Turkish woman. I want to keep it 100 with you. I don't see. She's cosplaying as a Black woman. She's a mixed race woman. But to use that scorn, angry Black, why was that your go-to? Black women, how do you feel about her weaponizing that? Like, I need to know, Black women, how do you feel about Victoria Everest weaponizing this? Scorned, angry Black women, how do you feel about that? She's using, yes, she's mixed race, right? But now, why does she have angry, angry mixed race woman? She's choosing to weaponize and take the Black woman's struggle and attach it onto herself. How do you feel about that, my sisters? How do you feel? Give her the Ginger J treatment.
The guy dead, that's the reality of it, for what he had put me through, for the pain they put me through. And it wasn't just everything I had experienced in that relationship. It was almost like the wrath of what I'd experienced through life, and, how I'd seen men, including my stepdad, and, including men that, growing up, abuse women. And I feel like at that point, my expression in that video was really just an expression of the wrath and the letdown and the pain. I was a scorned woman. And
she changed it there. I was a scorned woman. You're not a scorned Black woman no more. You're not scorned Black. What happened to your color? Where'd it go? What happened to your color, Victoria? Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go?
That statement, he didn't go to jail and he didn't get prosecuted. It backfired. And like I said, I really had to sit with the discomfort and the shame around that. And one of the biggest things.
He didn't go to jail and it backfired because he was innocent. What's wrong with you? Hey, Mide ONI, why are you not saying that? Why are you not saying he didn't go to jail because he was innocent? That was it. He didn't, and you got charged because you was guilty. And you're a criminal and a very nasty piece of woman. Nasty work. You got a son. Imagine doing this and you got a son. This is what I'm saying. Like, some of the women that hate men the most got kids, got sons, and what do you think those children grow up and think like? So I'm saying these are the baby moms. When I'm talking about the stats, these are the baby moms. This is what they're bringing up. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, let's go.
You know, I haven't gone into any of the blog posts, and you know, I refuse not to entertain, you know, the gossip or the low vibrational, low frequency conversations. But I
haven't been into any of the blogs because I refuse to give to the gossip and the low vibrational, low frequency conversations. Listen, low vibrational, you cannot speak about low vibrational when you are out there putting man in jail for grape. That's not even low vibrational. That is low diabolical. You know how they say that's diabolical? That's not even that. Like, you deserve to be in prison. That's where you deserve to be, in prison, in jail, locked up for a long time. That's where you deserve to be. And you're talking about low vibrational conversations.
You know, quite a few people have messaged and said, what about your son? And I think it would have been really irresponsible for me, you know, as a 30-year-old woman at that time, to carry that same mindset through to who I am and the woman I am today, you know, and that would have been irresponsible of me as a mum, you know, not making any changes, not looking in the mirror, not looking at my thoughts, not doing the work to uncondition myself from those thoughts. The reality is, you know, when I fast forward to my life today, you know, I have a very, very healthy relationship with my partner. He's an incredible man. I run retreats across the world, you know, wellness and
she ain't got no man. She ain't got man. She ain't got no money in the bank. She ain't be gonna stand. I'm trying to be that good. Listen, she's got money in the bank, but she ain't got no man. Ladies always talk about this. You got a guy that's beating you and blowing your back up, but you ain't got no man. You ain't got no man. What man want to be with this, man? Man them will see this and want to beat this, but she's a fruit teller. She's a fruit bat. Once you start speaking to her, you're going to be like, yo, this girl is a fruit bat. She's an absolutely crazy loopy. Look at her. Just look at her in the eyes. Look at her eyes, man. Like, hold on a second. Just look at her eyes. She's crazy. Look how she's looking. Look at her. Can you not see? Can you not see this fake? Look at the fillers in her face. Like, everything's fake about this girl, man. So I don't know why people thought anyone is getting gassed about this girl. Like, everything fake. Ain't no one getting gassed over here. You know what I mean? Nah, man. Victoria Everest. What's the gas about Victoria Everest, man? Don't see the hype.
And detox retreats open to men and women, and we even host men's only retreats. Men need healing as much as women need healing too. I'm an advocate for men being open enough to do the work on themselves.
Men need healing. Hey, this girl's crazy. I'm an advocate for men's health and men doing the work on themselves. You put a man in jail for grape and you're talking about men's healing. This is what I'm talking about. This woman is psychopathic. This is straight psychopath. This is psychopathic. Because what? This don't even make no sense. So the woman that put a man in jail for grape is now the same woman that's gonna say, oh, I'm an advocate for men's health. Oh, you can't make this ish up. No, you cannot make this ish up.
When women are scorned, because I'm not going to lie to you, that's something that I'm sure most of us have experienced. Personally speaking, I wouldn't think I'm going to falsely accused this man of rape. Like, is that something that you had done before? How did that even enter into your mind? Is that something that you had seen someone do?
Like the way they're questioning about setting someone up for a grape, is that something you've done before? Is that something you've seen someone else do? You're talking about setting up a man for grape that has not done it. Like, that is purely that's mental health, that's mental illness. Something has gone wrong with you. If you think, okay, this guy has wronged me in no matter what way he's wronged me, but the only way I know I will able to get attention and be taken seriously is if I say this guy has done one of the worst things a man can do. He has no sexual discipline. He's a complete raw guy. He's thirsty. He's hungry. He's uncontrollable. And then you attach this, then you, my dear, you are a demon. You're a demon. You need to be locked up, but more importantly, you need to be probably put in a straitjacket in a padded room while people give you a few pills every single day just to regulate you, because you are crazy. You are batshit crazy, as they say. You are because that is no reason to put a man into jail. All right? And this is how I would have questioned you, Victoria Everest. You're lucky you got Mide ONI. She a woman. Like me, I'm picking up on everything.
Why was that the thing that you said, I'm going to get him via this route, as opposed to for the actual abuse that he was doing?
Because he had actually sexually assaulted me in the relationship. There were so many times in the relationship that he had had sex with me without my consent. And I think that's where it all came to, you know.
So now she's saying, no, there's been so many other times where he's great in the relationship. So for those times, now I'm doing it. Mind you, none of these claims they're warranted if she wants to make them, but they cannot be confirmed, and they have not been confirmed. So you just have someone that is just throwing stuff out, non-fact checks, even though we're on a platform that's supposed to be putting extremely hard questions to her of what she did. They have not played the video once. We could be playing the video and stopping the video and saying, excuse me, what did you say here? What did you mean here? But we're not doing that. All we're doing is allowing her to paint whatever narrative that she wants to paint. Alexa, stop. All we're doing is paint whatever narratives that she wants to paint. Joke. It's annoying me, man.
He hadn't raped me. During the time that I was in a relationship, he assaulted me continuously. Like I said, it wasn't just physical abuse, it was mental, emotional, and there was, you know, I can count numerous times in the relationship while we were together, and I did not consent. I didn't want to have sex with him, and he pushed me to, and he forced me to.
So, and this is how she's trying to get us again. Although she has been proven to be a liar, and she was done for being a liar, we are now talking about unconfirmed reports of him raping her that she's now saying on camera, even though we cannot like, none of these claims can be confirmed. And in actual fact, the reason why they can't be confirmed is because the police would have taken it on board, and they didn't. They didn't. You know why? Because you're a goddamn liar.
Unfortunately, like I said, you know, there is no justice in the justice system, and the police couldn't protect me from this man.
Had you made previous reports? Had you gone to the police prior?
I'd called the police 19 times. There's a record of 19 separate occasions during the time we was in a relationship.
Listen, just because you called the police 19 times, so what? 19 times they realized you was a waste of time. You was lying. You was wasting the police time. Like, just because you called the police doesn't mean the police need to come and do things just for you. You probably called them and they realized something. So the police did their job. You just didn't like the job that they did. But the police did do their job, and their job was to realize you was a mad girl. And they clocked that 19 times.
18 months where I'd called the police for whether it was domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault.
What was it for? What did you call the police for?
For domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault. Throughout the 18 months, there was 9.
And the police didn't do anything. There was no
follow-up because I kept letting the man back into my space, you know.
So she's now saying, I called the police 19 times, but there was no follow-up because I kept letting the man back into my space. So whose fault is that? You tried to blame the police, yeah, but the police can only do so much if you keep letting the man back into your house 19 times. So it wasn't the police that didn't do their job. It was you. The police did their job. You just kept on not wanting to follow it up. So they probably realized you was a mad girl and you was using the police as a tool. And this is what I said, man, them, how you going back to a girl's house that called the feds on you? You're stupid. Like you're stupid. Like, if you go, call the feds on me once, that's it, I'm never going back again. But you, man, want to go back and forth. So that's why you find yourself in these scenarios. Once the girl says once you know she's fully mad, bro, don't stay in there. You know what they say, when you hang with clowns, you become a part of the circus.
There's only so much that they could do. You know, I was I had a huge part to play in this, you know, in the toxicity of it. You know, I was in a very toxic, broken space.
So let's go back to the video, Victoria. In the video,
she said that she had a lot to part to play in it. She's a very toxic space. Cool. A little bit of accountability. And Midi's like, let's get back to the video. Yes, let's get back to the video. You do realize this whole interview was about this viral video, but we have just spent the majority of this time. What are we talking about? Upbringing. What are we talking about? Like, seriously, the interview has been hijacked. It's just been a marketing tool for her retreat, for her wellness, for her trauma. She's really finessed her way. Like, honestly, this is a masterclass for some of you guys. Honestly.
firstly, who were you speaking to in that video?
So the person I was speaking to, I don't know. You know, I didn't know his name was. I don't know his name. I don't know who the person was. It was a complete stranger. Like he said in the statement, he came up to me in the gym one day. He worked his charm, and somehow, you know, got me to, you know, whether it was coercion or charm, I don't know. But
no, it wasn't coercion. Gucci Walker, it was not coercion. He met you in the gym and then somehow, no, you just got chatty patty. You need a therapist. You need real help. So soon as a guy showed you something, look how you spilled it to him. Look how you spilled you couldn't wait but to talk about it, and you did it so smugly. Okay? He didn't coerce you to do anything. You gave the information freely. No accountability. No accountability. He did not coerce you to do anything. What is this? No accountability. He did not coerce you. He didn't have to. You just sat there and you gave it all the information. You gave it. Let's not do that.
You know, to really express myself and express the pain.
Did he tell you that he knew Denzel? Did he tell you that he knew him?
He told me that he knew him, and
Okay.
you know, he said, you know, I think he said specifically, you know, why would you do that? And I responded and I was like, he deserves it. You know, I want to take him to the cleaners, you know, was my exact word. I want to take him to, you know, for all the suffering he put me through. It was a 7-minute video. It has been, you know, edited to.
It's a 7-minute video. It has been edited. Yeah. It's not AI though, is it? It's you. I wanted to take him to cleaners. You said you wanted to take him to cleaners, but you still said that this guy never had nothing. She started off with talking about, oh, he said he was a footballer, he said it was this or whatever. He was driving a Range Rover. It was the girl from Brown Eagles. He lived at home in his mom's house on the floor. But you still wanted to take him to the cleaners. So he definitely had something that you thought you could take. And if it wasn't anything, you were definitely going to take his freedom and his mental health.
Really make me seem, you know, there's no justification, but it, you know, it has been heavily edited.
You said that this video was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe somebody could hold on to a video that long, you know, with the...
Why is it being released now?
I can't even... What do you mean someone can hold on to a video that long? Go ask Monica Lewinsky how long she held on to that dress with Bill Clinton. Listen, go ask Bill Cosby about the women that are holding on to historic. Only women will think that if you hold something for 6 years, that means something. But nah, he held it for 6 years because they held it for 6 years. Historical claims of rape or abuse. If you went and did something 10 years ago, 20 years, they're going to pull you up for it now. So I don't know why you feel as if because you did this 6 years ago, it does not make, no, it makes it very, no, it makes it very relevant. And it's not just about you, Victoria. This is something that men have experienced and men have been talking about, that women lie on men and get away with it, all the innocent men. But it's very rare we have on camera something that we have spoken about a lot, and some of the things that men have spoken about. But we have you, yes, there's bare Victorias, like someone like Zizi wanted to say, like Zizi Mills wanted to say, there are bare Victorias everywhere. Yes, there are bare Victorias everywhere. And ever since this video has come out, the amount of women that I've found and trying to look for reasons to justify and make it okay shows me something. There are bare Victorias everywhere. They are. And the sooner we can out them out the man, then we'll be a lot safer.
I don't know. I think you need to ask him that question.
Okay. So have you not had any interaction with him
None
prior
at all.
to him releasing the video?
None at all.
Okay.
However, there was an interaction with, and I said to you, there was 2 occasions, 2 really abusive relationships that I've experienced in my life. You know, one of those was, you know, over 8 years ago, the one that we just discussed. The second one was more recent. Several years ago, I met.
I'm sorry. Why is every guy you meet abusive? Like, are you just unlucky, or do you think every guy's abusive? Seriously, because not every guy's abusive. But she's talking about the last abusive relationship was 8 years ago. Then my recent abusive relationship was 2 years ago. Like, man, them, if a man kept on telling me, oh, every time I meet a girl, she cheated on me, then the next girl that I met, she cheated on me, then this girl, I'll be like, yo, you definitely like women that cheat on you, because how come you always find the cheaters? You are so good at finding cheaters. You're so good at finding cheaters. You're so good at finding abusers and DV. Listen, if you're this good at picking people that do DV, you need to try your hand at picking a lottery ticket. I'm just saying, you might be good. You might pick a winner.
A guy while I was traveling. I was doing retreats in Egypt, and during the time we'd crossed paths, and it was in December, it was around December. He had lost his mum. He's come back to the UK, and he turned up at my door one day and he was like, we met in Egypt, do you remember? And I said, yeah, I do. And he's like, I've just lost my mum and I'm going through a tough time. Could I come in? And I let this guy into my house. And
So you just let a random guy into your house. Bro, remember women like this always want to act like, oh, women want to act like, woe is me, and men of this. You just let some random guy into your house. And you were surprised he was crazy. Did you even know this guy? Did you vet this guy? You let some random guy into your house with your child, your son's in the home. Man, them, I always talk about single mothers and these types of women that all they do is care about themselves. They don't care about their kids. Because how you letting this random guy into the house? You don't care about your kids. How can you don't care about your kids? You don't.
This stranger that you met in Egypt came to your door. I'm assuming you gave him your address for him to do that.
Yeah, he came to my door. I gave him my address. He came to my door.
Yeah, and you just let him in to your house.
Yeah, I let him into my house. And over the next 3 months, what had occurred was, you know, very, very similar to the last abusive relationship that I was in. The control, the coercion.
I'm sorry, Mide ONI, you just let her say she let a random guy into her house. As a mother, you didn't question it. You didn't say to her, oh my God, but you've got a son and you just met this guy online, wherever you met him, I take it online. You gave him your address and he just came to your home. And you did not question her. This is what I'm talking about. The line of question, like, you did not even press her on that and say, don't you think that's a bit dangerous as a woman with a son? Don't you think inviting a random guy into your home is a bit dangerous? Don't you think? Just a question. You don't got to press her about it. Just ask her, don't you think that could be dangerous? But no, you just let her glaze over it and just continue. And this is how this whole interview's been. This interview's techniques is terrible.
And the physical violence, he'd never hit me, but he would, anytime we would get into an argument, he would strangle me. And that was his thing. He was a guy that was almost 4 times the size of me. And I guess the one big difference between that relationship and you know, this one that I'm describing now is that within the first 3 months of realizing, you know, the red flags, I severed the ties completely. This time round, I had the confidence and the strength to be able to pursue, let the police know, and he was arrested and charged and remanded for assaulting me.
So now she put another man into jail. All this woman does is meet men and put them into jail. Like, have you not noticed a pattern of behavior here? Everyone's abusive. Everyone she meets, she puts them into jail. Like, at some point, the common denominator is you, Victoria Everest. And she's the dead thing. Sorry. Like, and I know this guy she put into jail. He's not a black man. This woman is a Turkish woman. This is not no black woman. This is a Turkish thing, man. Get me Turkgerian. She's half Nigerian, half Turkish, Turkgerian. That's what she is. But she ain't no black woman.
And when he was remanded in August, I then had to find the courage, you know, and I've never gone through this process before, to stand up in trial and face this man and face, you know, face the situation. And really, at this point, I leaned on the justice system to really, you know, navigate and support. And I've only heard this, but I can really relate with those individuals, those women who have experienced domestic violence in any way. And it was.
So now you're leaning on the justice system. Before it was that she has no faith in the justice system. Now she's leaning on the justice system. I remember I told you about the gaslighting this woman does. Like, if you have to listen to it for you to catch up with the gaslighting, but she's just got the gas. She's turned on the gas. It's always on. To be fair with her, the gas is never off with her. It's always, I can smell the gas from here. I can smell the gas from here. I can. And she's waiting for someone to spark up. And it's going to go kaboom.
Definitely a really challenging experience for me to go through. I'd never been in a space where, whilst I was a victim of crime, where I was, you know, by a barrister and a jury, you know, being questioned. And unfortunately, during the trial, the police had never gathered the evidence that they needed, all of my medical reports, to produce as part of the case. And the case was thrown out and he was found not guilty. So he was let off scotch-free. And as a result, you know, when he came out...
He wasn't let off scot-free. He was free. Guys, stop. Remember, and this is what I mean. She's allowing her to control the conversation. What do you mean she was let off scot? No, that person was free and innocent. He wasn't let off. Okay, the jury, the CPS said this guy was not guilty. End of. He wasn't let off. You have to pull them up for this language, because it creates the air that the guy's in jail for something. Or no, he was found completely and utterly innocent. He was not let off what part? No.
When the blackmail and abuse began. So he began to send me messages to say, watch, I'm going to get you, I'm going to kill you, you're going to face the price for this, you're going to pay the price. And this is the individual that has surfaced the video. So he's been the person that has, you know, over the last 6 months tormented and blackmailed me to a point where I just said, I'm if you're going to release the video, release the video. He is a very vindictive, very manipulative person. You know, like I said, I haven't seen him since he was arrested, apart from the time, even in court.
I haven't seen him since he was arrested, and he was actually innocently arrested. Remember, she admitted to lying, and now she's saying that he's trying to blackmail her 6 years later. Yes, you shouldn't have seen him because you're a liar, and no, you shouldn't be near your victim. Do you understand? Like, you was a liar, Victoria Everest.
To stand up, you know, they give the option to the witnesses to have a mask, so I didn't have to actually see his face in court.
So who is this person that you're talking about, and what relevancy do they have to the video being released?
The individual that I'm talking about is a gentleman by the name of Jason, and he...
Wait. We had Gucci Walker. All right. We had Denzel. Now we have Jason. Do you know what she's doing? She's putting different relationships and different names across the 10-year or 7-year period, whatever, how long it is, and she's fusing them into one. So, Mide ONI, yes, you should be asking her because that's what we're asking her. She's trying to create all of these things into one person, but these are different relationships and different timelines. But the way she spins the story will have you thinking it is one person, but it isn't one person.
He got hold of the video, and
How? How did he get hold of
I
the
don't know the
video?
relationship between Jason and Gucci, but maybe they met. You know, I'm guessing that they would have met and they would have talked about the situation. And Jason is essentially on a very vindictive.
So you don't even know how they would have met, but yet you are over here saying how they would have met. You don't know anything. It's theories, guys. She doesn't have anything concrete. She's just trying to think of what could have potentially happened, but she doesn't have anything concrete. Nothing concrete whatsoever.
To ruin my life, essentially ruin my life, silence me. And you know, in his words, he wants me to pay the price.
This is very, very confusing, Victoria.
Yes, it's very, very confusing, Victoria. Pay the price. I should hope you should 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 pay the price. Yes, pay the price.
3 people here.
Yeah.
Denzel, Jason, and Gucci. Are they friends?
So Denzel and Jason do not know each other. They're, you know, they're 2 relationships I had 10 years apart.
So Denzel and Jason do not know each other, 10 years apart relationships. Just like I said, okay, she's fusing it to try to create it into one type of timeline, and it's confusing the person. And if they don't ask it, and if she never asked this, we wouldn't know. So Mide ONI, I'll give you that, because so far you haven't not been impressing me with this one. I won't lie.
The similarity between those 2 relationships was both relationships where I was assaulted and abused, and there's been, you know, the Denzel relationship didn't go, you know, the assault charge didn't go anywhere.
So Denzel assault charge, that's the tape that we got currently floating around, didn't go anywhere. And it didn't go anywhere because because the tape came out and they released him, but he did get arrested for it. Let's remember this, guys. Let's just remember this.
Do they know each other in any way?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware
So then
of.
how did Jason get access to the video or know about the video?
So from my understanding, and this is hearsay, I don't know the facts around it, but my understanding is that Jason paid Gucci to release the video.
Absolute rubbish. Jason paid Gucci to release the video. So now 3 men, 2 of them on a 10-year separate timeline, all right, and the next one have paid to release, to get her down, because you are anybody, Victoria Everest. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just perpetuating the gaslighting, yeah? No one cares about you that much. You are nobody. But she's trying to figure out any way to make this story fit in with the way she's trying to create it. So, but if you listen to this objectively, you will just know that she's lying. Like, just listen to it objectively for a second, and you will know that she's a liar.
But how did he know about the video?
Gucci told him that he still had a copy of the video from 10 years ago.
Gucci and Jason know each other?
Correct. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And that's where that came from.
Okay. There's still holes. I'm still a bit confused, because Gucci said in his statement that he found out that somebody was facing rape charges, and I'm assuming he was referring to Denzel.
He was referring to Denzel, correct.
So he knows Denzel.
Gucci knows both Denzel and Jason.
Okay,
correct.
fine. That makes sense now. Okay.
No, it does not make sense, Mide ONI. It does not make any sense. It doesn't. So now what? So what? Gucci's to blame. It doesn't make any sense. But if you're trying to allow someone to make a story to fit their narrative make sense, then of course it makes complete and utter sense. And that's what you're doing right now.
In terms of the relationship between Denzel and Gucci, I don't know when or how they met, but when Jason found out he had a copy of this video, he then used that, you know, to blackmail and ammunition to say that I'm going to tear you down and release the video. And
what's the timeline of that relationship?
6 months.
6 months. And when was that?
So we met in January, and by August, that's when he had been arrested and remanded by the judge. The judge had made a decision to remand him because he had breached bail conditions on 4 separate occasions, and this was the final occasion. And at this point, you know, the final point when he breached his bail conditions, he'd broken into my house. He had set light to all of my personal possessions in the house. I've got a video of him, breaking into my house. And then when I turned up at home later that morning, he then tried to strangle me.
So guys, we've jumped again. So this is Jason, not Denzel, not Gucci. This is the guy, which is, she said, is a 10-year apart relationship. So this is the Turkish guy that she's dating. The Turkish guy that there's so many. She is just making up names to match what she's saying. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I was, you know, at the time it was the next door neighbor who saw me screaming for my life and trying to climb out the bedroom window to try and protect myself from this guy. They called the police. The police turned up and arrested him on the spot.
This guy she's talking about is not the guy she put into jail, okay? This was someone that she met afterwards. But the way she says the story would make you think it's the same person. She puts everyone's name in a timeline to try to link them all together.
He didn't get prosecuted because, like I said, there was the police had not provided my medical report, you know, the strangulation charge, and it just wasn't strong enough for the jury to make a decision. So I definitely.
So now the police didn't provide this. She picks and chooses when she wants to rate the police and when the police do a good job. She really picks and chooses when she wants to do that. And right now she's doing that again.
Feel that situation, you know, despite the fact he did serve time, you know, it wasn't really justified, you know, for you know what had actually happened. And now he's out. Like I said, he's on a vendetta. He's on a revenge train, and you know, this is really his opportunity to you know, as he says it, get one up on me.
So when he was blackmailing you, what exactly was he asking for? What did he want from you? What did he want you to do?
So he wanted me to pay him money. That was the bottom line. You know, it was a case.
How much? What was he asking for? Was there a particular amount?
Yeah, the messages said I needed to send him 10K now, and if I didn't send him 10K, 10K.
10K. Mide ONI, now you're listening. When you heard 10K, why your ears prick up so bad? It's like 10K was the only thing that fully got you activated this whole interview. 10K. So now she's saying it's blackmailing. But if you've got proof of a man blackmailing you for £10,000 that you've already gone to police, why would you not just go straight to police and then just show them the messages that this person trying to extort you at £10,000? Would you not? A woman that is known to go to the police since 15 to put people into prison, would this woman not just go to the police? The same police that you said are doing what they do, like they're actually doing their job, right? But you're allowing this woman to say whatever she wants to say on your platform, non-fact checked whatsoever. This is just, I want everyone to watch this. This is a PR masterclass in how to navigate something. And this is also a PR disaster in regards to being an interviewer or being a platform, and you want to be seen. Trend Central, either way, the views are going to come in. That's how they move. But in regards to Mide ONI, like, especially after that Tamelo interview, you needed to come with something that's going to remind people that, look, you know. But I'm sorry, you completely dropped the ball on this one. This was a really good opportunity for you to press the hard questions, for you to be seen. Go look at the comments. The comments are eating you up. Like sometimes you gotta study who is coming and really study them, because she just finessed this.
He would release the video. So I said, release the video. I said, release the video. Like I said, you know, I'm really grateful for the support system and network and community that I've built. And I think one of the biggest things, you know, that have come up in the comments over and over and over again is that, you know, people don't understand, you know, why is it that I haven't had half my followers lost after this video being released? And I feel,
Why hasn't she had half her followers lost? It's because you buy your followers. We proved that. We'll show it anyway. You buy your followers. That's why you had the same cat slapping another cat on each. And you buy your followers. You're good at social media, so you have lost a lot of followers, but you keep buying the followers to create a perception of your followers having gone down. So as long as that happened on the wider scheme of things, to anyone looking from the outside, they'll be like, "Oh, look, she's still successful." But deep down, you know things behind the scenes are changing, and you buy followers. I'm not saying you don't have followers. You might have like 200,000 that are real, but that 750,000 is fake.
especially if you're new to my page, you know, I've over the last 5 years, I've laid my soul bare. You know, my community have been my rock over the years. I have never ever shared any of the challenges that I've experienced as a human being, as a woman, around the violence, the domestic violence, the abuse, you know, the any of the hardships. You know, people jump on my page and possibly think that, you know, I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth, and you know, I'm not a human just like you guys. And I just feel that, you know, yeah, I definitely feel that when people get to know me, and and that's the thing, you know, the reason why people are still here today and still supporting my work and my movement is because the individual in that video that expressed that anger and hate towards men isn't who I am today. It was
No, it really is who you are today, because you still hate men and you still make bad choices and you're still putting people into jail. So that is you. That is you. There's been no accountability, Victoria Everest, and it's all been about blaming everybody, your upbringing, blaming every single person, every single person, your stepdad, every single person. Like, you've been blaming since 15. The common denominator in all of these scenarios is you, and you haven't done the work. You haven't done the internal work. I'm sorry, but if you can't see that, you are extremely broken woman, and you need some help.
isn't a reflection of who I am, what I stand for, the work that I do. And it's evident, it's really evidence. Like, let's deal with like evidence and facts, you know, with this situation. Yeah.
Hey, not Trend Central hitting them with the East End cliffhangers like that. Let go, screaming and that. Hey, that was part one, man. Of I need to clear my name off the record. Victoria Everest, with Mide ONI, and I'll just be honest with you. That was a masterclass. I want everyone to watch that in how to navigate a tricky scenario. She just showed everyone a masterclass. I'm sorry, Mide ONI, but she basically made that. She used that as a promotional tool. Like, watching that, she doesn't walk away from that negatively. She walks away in a positive light, because everything was set up to do that for her. So she doesn't walk away negatively. She walks away in a complete and utter positive light. And this is why, Andy, man, with stuff like this, just pull up. Just have me do it. The Nalva Andy would have she would have asked the hard questions. But Mide ONI's a mother, and she didn't do what had to be done on this, because there was so much more we could have explored, so many more gems that, and I know Trend Central love gems. You love viral gems. Yeah, you do. And this was a wasted opportunity to literally get to the core of things, you know. But yeah, so this was Mynameischyna reacting to surviving Victoria Everest, and this was part one. They got another part two, and you're gonna go check out the next video for that. But make sure you like the video. You comment. Make sure you comment, because you know, we're building a community here, and the comments is how I know the feedback. Make sure you comment. You turn notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And then yeah, man, hype the video up. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member, we've got 3 separate tiers. Hit us with a super thanks, and we are out.